How's it going, folks? Welcome to the first ever episode of Behind the Lyrics. Let's get it going. In this series, we're going to do a deep dive into the lyrics and the meaning behind each of the verses and the choruses as you hear them. So, I got my black book ready. So all my notes when I wrote the music. Got my cup of tea. Because I'm still getting over the thing with my throat. But we're ready to get it on. So this party. So I got the lyrics loaded on a teleprompter. We're just going to do this off the script. And we're going to roll with it. So, Dad, look at me now. As the song title states, right? It's a song I wrote for my father. So at the time of this recording, my father passed away about 2 years ago, right? I was in Arizona, I was on a project, and I was coordinating with the doctors and making the decisions for him, at the end of his life. So after he ended up passing away, went back and visiting him, and family, and then I came back to the project. This song is a way that I coped with the loss, right? And it also is what inspired me to start this whole adventure that I'm on right now with the songwriting and singing and, coming out of my shell and putting myself out there, so that way I can share the things that help me cope with different events in my life with others. Because the fact of the matter is that I'm not the only one who's going through this, other people are. So if this works for me, maybe it will work for them. So, Dad, look at me now. The first thing I want to talk about this song is I call it the emotional ride, right? So, what you're going to notice when you listen to the song from beginning to end, in the very beginning, the vocal tonation is a lot lower. And throughout the song, it builds. And what I was trying to do is the beginning and the first half of the song is a period of uncertainty. I asked myself, did I make the right decisions at the end of his life? Did I do the right things leading up to it? Did I do the right things after it? I don't know. So it's a period of uncertainty. And then after we hit into the second half of the song, you're going to notice the tone changes and it goes from more of questioning to look at me now. Or that sense of pride. I'm coming to the closure and I'm happy with where I am because of what he gave me. So, verse 1. So we're going to go over this with 2 lines at a time because each line is designed to complement each other. So in verse 1, we have, you worked with calloused hands and cried in grace, built to life with grit you couldn't fake. So my dad was a maintenance man, right? And he did everything he could for me and my sister and our family, right? He didn't make a ton of money. He did what he could for us, right? And if you understand, you understand, right? And I will forever love him, just on that fact, just aside that he's my father, but just because, he did everything that he could for us. He was dealt a pretty bad, hand in life, but he took them cards, he played it, and he ended up, I believe, making a great man out of me because of his example. Right, so you worked with calloused hands and cried in grace. I honestly can't think of a time that I've ever seen my father cry. And especially in culture nowadays with men, we're not supposed to cry in front of our kids. Or so they say. And that was a different time that maybe it held true. But I know he was going through those emotions, and the fact that he could still present that front just showed, how good of a man that he was. All right, so the next lines. Did what you could with the cards you drew and somehow made it all feel brand new. So, like I was saying before, so he grew up in an orphanage. He didn't really have a strong connection with his parents. He ended up meeting my mother, right? And so he he took the situation that he was in. He was an ex-convict. When he had my sister, he told me multiple times that's when his life changed, and it truly did. So he drew them cards, but in the end, he gave himself a brand new life, and he gave us a brand new life. So despite what he went through, he made it all feel brand new. Right? You taught me how to stand, how to speak, how to bend, but never break beneath. The same thing, man, no matter what life threw at him, right? He fought it and he overcame, right? From the different mannerisms, like I said, how he stood, how he spoke, how he reacted to certain situations, right? You can tell that he did things that he didn't want to, so he bent, right? But he never broke, right? So I go on to tell him, now I'm raising kids with your old smile, and I hear your voice every once in a while. And what I mean by that is, whenever I look in the mirror now, I see him, right? Like, I have his smile. Yeah, I am his son, right? And as I'm raising my kids, and I'm going through experiences in my life, and I'm asking myself, well, what would he do in this situation, or what did he do in similar situations? I can always hear his voice, a very distinct voice. I can always hear him. Kind of guiding me along. So the chorus. All right, so the chorus goes, look at me now, Dad, I hope you're proud. I'm the man I am because you showed me how. Kind of self-explanatory, but in the tonation of this part of the song, it's kind of like a question. It's like, look at me, Dad. It's like, am I doing it right? Are you proud of me for what I've done in my life up to this point? Okay, so then the lessons live in every word I say, in the way I love, and the price I pay. Right? So again, his lessons drive me because they built my core character and who I am, and a lot of the values that I have came from him. I can literally say half of them came from him and half of them came from my mother. Right? From in the way that I love and the price I pay. I love my family unconditionally the same way that he loved us unconditionally, right? And then the price I pay, I'm on the road, I'm doing what I need to make sure my family survives, right? The same way he did. He always told me you should always make sure that your kids' lives are better than your own, and he succeeded in that because even with the circumstances that we had, I didn't grow up in an orphanage, so my life was better than his. And now I can look at my kids and say, you know what? Their life is better than mine. We have a house. We have a car. We have nice things. So they have a better life rate than I have. So the next one goes. You were best friends to your grandkids' hearts. Love my sister and me from the very start. So my kids absolutely adored him. Right? My son was following him around everywhere, picked up his mannerisms. From folding a napkin on his knee whenever we go out to eat, to walking around with his hands behind his back just like my dad did. He was their best friend. He really, really was. And every time I see them do that, again, it reminds me of him. And like I was saying earlier, love my sister and me from the very start. When my sister was born, he said that was the moment that his life changed, and he swore that he wasn't going to go out and commit crimes anymore, and he wasn't going to go back to jail or prison, and he did that. He reformed his life, he turned it around, so that way he could start giving us. So I go on to say, I'm still chasing dreams with your name in mind. Look at me now, Dad, I'm doing fine. So I'm still chasing dreams with your name in mind. There's a lot of things that me and him wanted to do together. We wanted to build a muscle car together. We wanted to go visit sites together. And unfortunately, I can't do that stuff with him now. But I'm still going to chase those dreams. I'm going to make sure that his name is in mind with me. Right? Now, this point, I really focused on how the music was going to sound. Look at me now, Dad. I'm doing fine. Right? But the way that I say it in the song, it's like, I'm doing fine, but am I really? Right? So it's more of that question. So from here in the second verse, we go into about my wife. Right? So my My father accepted my wife just like she was his daughter, right? And he loved her the same. He loved her, just as much as he loved me, just as much as he loved my sister. He really adopted her into our family, and anything he would have done for me and my sister, he would have done for her, without a doubt. So I say that you saw my wife and called her your own, adopted her heart like she'd always belong. Like I said, just like she was always there from the very beginning. So the next line says, she felt your love in every word and deed. You gave her more than she thought she'd need. And she did. Every time that she spoke with him, she can tell the love that was coming from him. Every time he would ask her to go do something, and she would do it to help him out, and he'd say thank you. He really meant it. He never presented a false front with my wife. He was true. He was honest with her, just the same way he was with us. Right. We talk about you when the stars come out. They ask if you're watching from the clouds, right? And so in this one, I'm jumping back to my kids, right? And when we're outside, we hang out in the garage, in the front yard, the backyard now, and we talk about them every now and then, when the stars come out, and they ask if he's in heaven, and I'd like to believe so. I say he's the reason I know what's right. I kiss them both and turn out the light. And the first one is pretty self-explanatory. I say he's the reason I know what's right, because he taught me right from wrong. He taught me what it is to be a man. He taught me what it is to put my family before my own, right? And I'm kind of wanting to build the image of, like, you can imagine me in the door. Right? They're asking, where is he? Where is he at now? And I'm just telling them what he gave me. So he kissed them both and turned out the light, the bedroom light. So now, in the chorus is the same, but what we hit a high point, right? So to me, reflecting back on looking at my kids, telling them the lessons that he taught me, it's like I come to the realization that, what? He is proud of me, because I am the man that I am, because of what he showed me, because of the lessons, that he's given me through all this time, that his love is there and will always be there. And then I changed, and if you don't listen to it, you won't hear it, but I changed the word at the very end of the second chorus. So instead of look at me now, it's Dad, look at us now. And that's me and my wife, me and my sister. It's I'm not the only one going through this, but they were too. And it's like, what? We're going to be okay. Look at us. We're going to be okay. And so as we come into the bridge, I say, I carry your name like a flag in the wind, through every loss, through every win. And I do, when I say I carry your name, it's our family name. Peter's our last name, and I'm proud of that last name. The same way he was. That is my flag in the wind that I carry every day into life. Doesn't matter if I'm losing that day or I'm winning that day, I'm carrying that flag with me. You built the road I'm walking on, and I swear I'll keep your spirit strong. Again, he showed me the way. He showed me how to do it, right? And I swear that as I'm walking that path that he laid out for me, and continue on beyond that path, as I come across new situations, I'm always going to keep his spirit strong with me and look at how he would advise me as if he was there doing it with me. So again, we come back into the chorus, and it breaks it down the very same. I keep the look at us now because again, it's no longer about me in that one. So as we come to the outro, this is the final closure, the emotional hammer, if you will, because now I'm like, what? I did make the right decisions for him, the same way he made the right decisions for me. I took care of him at the end of his life, just like he took care of me at the beginning of mine. And now I'm like, he would be proud. If he was standing right here in front of me right now, you know, he would be proud. You know, his last words to me was, you know, son, I love you. And I lied. He did cry when he told me that. I think that's the only time I've ever seen him cry. You know, and so I say now, you know, look at me now. Look at us now. Because we're going to be just fine. We are. So, Dad, look at me now. So that was the song that started it all. That's the meaning behind the lyrics. You know, so if you ever had any question about where any part of it came or whatnot, now you know. This song, it's not my song. When I made this song, it helped me get through that situation. So to anyone who's lost their father, this is your song too. I pray that it helps you the way it helped me. In the future, as other people come along across this song, if they encounter the same situation, just know that what you're going through, the feelings that you're feeling, you're not alone. It is hard. It is excruciating hard. You cannot imagine it until it happens, and then that feeling of emptiness that follows, and it's a void that drives you into depression. Just know that you're not alone. Right? And with that, I'm going to wrap up this first one, but you're going to kind of get the idea now of what these behind the lyrics are. Stay tuned. In the link down below, I'll have it going to the lyric video, so you can follow along with the lyrics there if you like. There's links to all the major streaming platforms that's available on there. And thanks for hanging out with me on this episode Behind the Lyrics. Dad, look at me now. See you on the next one.
Look at me now,